What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Kicking off a brand new week here.
New week.
Not just in my Cowboys family, right, but in the Dallas Cowboy world. It's a brand new week, a brand new Monday, and of course, new things to talk about, discuss, break down, all of it.
You know, the top two head honchos here, Clown 1, Clown 2, they spoke today, along with some insight about McCarthy's offensive play calling, Green Bay versus Dallas. And you see some roster moves done. A receiver gone, a receiver here, a new guy. So we'll talk about this and more here tonight. Kicking off a new week on My Cowboys Family. But baby, first, it's about the people here, the family that make this thing go round and round on a nightly, on the weekly, yearly. You know we do this, guys. Much love to the representation on the boards here. The top of the board, which is sponsor of the week.
Woo.
And the Cash App King, the great David S. with the last second takeover last night. Took over all places and took the top spot. Once again, representing it here. I think second time in 3 weeks, is it? I think at least second time in a month, but the second time in at least a month or 3 weeks.
And
David S. dominating.
Last minute takeover as well.
Big time. So much love to David S. But he's not the only person to shout out here. You have the great Mark Hovsepian.
Mahalo to you, yes. Mark. He's still bossing that stream around, representing it with 60. There you go. Almost looked like an 80 for a second. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, and again, not only that, baby, but also we had we got a new week. So there is currently no leader in the Cash App side of things. Empty. But we have a leader on the overall board, and that is the great top dog, Dwayne Broussard. $4 Dak Holler and a huge Go Cowboys. Ooh. He's leading the board this week. Of course, this is like literally minute one of the stream of the week. So much love to Dwayne, the great top dog, Dwayne Broussard. Appreciate him as always. Sub it up to his channel if you get a chance to. Now, I also got to shout out a couple other people here, like the star level membership and the Over Everything membership. Right now, that's empty. But the star level membership, much love to the 4 people repping it as of now. That's growing slowly, but surely. Appreciate the great skeptical fan, LC. Lincoln came from Australia. Of course, you got Dwayne Broussard and Mary Alvarez. Much love to you for the nightly shout. Yeah, the nightly shout outs on that star level membership. And of course, extra special shout outs to those in the gifting side of memberships. Again, maybe you might have to kind of let people know how to do that, but to gift if you're in a membership, you can gift out memberships to other fellow family members right here in the chat on these live streams. And right now, last month's May champion is Skeptical Fan. Once again, man, he's been rocking. He had 24 last month. Already this month, in June, he has 15. And he's tied in first place with Jason Renfro. The only 2 guys on that board. Jason Renfro dropping a lot of the membership gifting love. So you can see the top board right there, the gifting leaders for this month. So that goes the whole month. Right now, we're about 2 weeks in. Skeptical Fan 15, Jason Renfro 15. Appreciate your guys' love and support on that side of things. That's the shout-outs there. Now, we know we got the super chats back, got the membership, of course, and the gifting memberships, but there's other ways to show love here on My Cowboys Family.
Of course, with the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link for our international friends, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comments show up on screen just like a super chat. So
again, appreciate everybody who's doing it through this and through that. Here on MCF, we can't do this without your love and support. But, baby, we got to talk about those in the chat right now as we get this thing rolling on another one here, another week. Who's in the house tonight ready to discuss some Dallas Cowboy news, info, and updates here on My Cowboys Family?
Ooh, we have Bruce got the toxic juice. Hello and hi. Let's see. Andy Potts. Hello and hi. What's up, man?
Hey, Andy in the house.
Long time no see. Hopefully you're doing all right.
Yeah.
Bobby Garrett. Along with one of the other Superior Garretts.
Garretts.
Garrett.
Yeah. I knew he was around.
So we have the Garrett duo in the house here. Have a great night. Take it easy. Let me see who else is here. The Lunatic.
Hey.
The man himself.
The Godfather.
Beanchik Cowboys. Always. So, I know I just said him, but for Dwayne Broussard, the top dog. Thank you, of course. Let me see. Freedom First. Hello and hi.
First again.
Remy Solis. What's up? Purple Potato Waffle with the classic Go Cowboys and Dwayne Broussard. Following that up with his classic Go Cowboys. So, Let me see here. Rolando Rodriguez.
Hey, Rolando in the
Hi.
house.
So yeah, I think that's everyone here so far. So as more people trickle in, I'll make sure to give them their hello and hi.
Remind everybody how they can possibly, again, I don't know if it's going to be now. It might happen during the stream. Someone drops a gifted membership. How can people receive gifted memberships, baby?
And I'm pretty sure that there's a handful kind of loaded up, ready to go. So if you go, kind of close out the chat, there's a little section there that says gift there next to the part where it says live chat. If you go ahead and just hit accept gifts or whatever, there you go. I don't know what it looks like or whatever. People in the chat let me know. But basically, you have to accept receiving gifts.
On this
channel. So, like I said, just, close out the chat real quick. And right next to that little live chat button, there's going to be a little gift button.
If you go also if you happen to go to the join, like you look at the membership, you can click the membership. If you're going to look in there, without joining any of the memberships, you can actually go to the top right, those 3 dots, and you click that. It says like gifting options. You click that, and then you can also turn on the receiving gifts on this channel. So just so people know, when they come on and someone drops, 1, 5, who knows more, more than that. When it comes to memberships, that's the way you will automatically accept them if you're in here watching, lurking, whatever, typing, and that's how you get your memberships here in My Cowboys Family. So make sure you turn them on. I just realized that obviously nobody has it on until we're saying this. So as the weeks come on, the months come on, more people will have it turned on, and more memberships will be able to be acquired by the family here on the nightly.
So perfect. I just want to make sure I hopefully explained that all right. So if anyone ever has any questions or anything, let us know. We'll mention it periodically throughout the night. Let me see. Kelly KC, hello and hi. Perfect. Much love. So I think that's everybody here, like I said earlier. So, baby, I will officially hand things off to you. So, kind of, let's go ahead and break it down. What's going on with our Cowboys? What's going on in the NFL? Like, just what's going on?
What's going down? So, listen, kicking off a new week, we're going to talk about, yesterday we talked about Josh Allen possibly being on the EA Sports Madden 24 cover. Kind of was make a joke. I was going to make a joke. It must be the interception, edition, because or turnover edition. Because just so you guys know, yes, Josh Allen. A lot of people put him over Dak Prescott. Whether it's true or not, they're pretty much, I would say, close, if not the same region of eliteness or level. I mean, neither are elite, in my opinion, right now. But I do want to make a comment here. Again, we were talking about maybe Micah Parsons will be the guy. I mean, I figured because of his enjoyment and love for the game, that might be a reasoning. But let me just actually a Dak kind of connection, because Josh Allen, when you go back to 2021, most interceptions thrown in the last 2 seasons, 2021, 2022, Josh Allen has thrown 29 INTs. Derek Carr has thrown 28. Joe Burrow has thrown 26. Just saying, like, these are supposed to be, some of these, 2 of those 3, like the up-and-coming guys like Burrow and Allen. They got 29 and 26 picks. With 25 picks, you got Trevor Lawrence, David Mills, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan, and Dak Prescott. Interesting there, Matt Ryan played like 1 out of the last 2 years, and he's still on this list, which is crazy. 25 picks in 1 year, basically, is what he had. But Dak is in the list here with a lot of these other guys that are the best, the elites of the NFL, like Mahomes, right? Some people think Herbert and Burrow and Allen are all elites and better than Dak, but yet they go at Dak and his picks number, yet Dak Prescott, not at the top 3 of this list, and tied with the rest of the top quarterbacks in the NFL when it comes to throwing picks in the last 2 years combined. So all that stuff, all that, that BS narrative, Dak throws interceptions like crazy, this and that. Listen, all quarterbacks throw interceptions when they're actively trying to attack down the field. But that's what Dak's been doing since 2019. So
exactly, no risk, no reward.
Yeah. So Dak, as you can see here, tied with Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Herbert in the last 2 years when it comes to throwing picks, and Burrow, Derek Carr, and Allen have all thrown more than Dak Prescott in the last 2 years combined. Just throwing out facts, you know what I mean? People like facts. There's some facts for us. Now, that's the Madden cover. It's crazy, baby. The last 2 days we had like a lot of Buffalo Bill topics. It's just, again, Josh Allen.
Yes, again, and to me, a lot of Bill stuff is very Cowboy adjacent, and not just because of, Stephon Diggs.
Well, it's hard to be like Cowboy adjacent to the AFC teams because AFC teams, right?
I agree,
we don't really play them, but this year we do.
In this scenario, though, just because again, Josh Allen and Dak, I feel like are always not necessarily connected, but because of these circumstances, they're always compared, they're always contrasted. So, and like I said, because of that almost a familial connection to the Bills, I just feel like even if it has nothing to do with us, we are always kind of, discussing them. We're just like, they're always like hovering around the edges of being Cowboy relevant in some way.
I think it's probably more so because, we are a team that might be facing them in the playoffs. In the Super Bowl. And
that would be one hell of a
again, it's been a lot. It's
matchup.
been kind of predicted a couple of times the last couple of years. Cowboys, Bills, and, rematch of the 90s where we swept them twice. So, you never know. Look, all I'm trying to say is there's always that connection, whether it's quarterback, whether it's team, going to the Super Bowl, whatever it is. And that's kind of the newer representation of the connection. But it's hard to be connected, maybe, to an AFC team because, yeah. Now, the one thing I will say this year, we are playing the Bills. Now, the reason I continue with the Bills theme here, because LaShawn McCoy, again, we know he played for the Bills for some years, the Eagles and many other teams, but he's a 6-time Pro Bowler. He, of course, retired. He's on the thing with David Hellman. I think they are in some back and forth, Emmanuel Acho. So he's on some shows out there on Fox Sports, I think. He's emerging now as the possible contender to succeed Shannon Sharpe.
Oh.
As Skip Bayless's debate partner on Undisputed. So, again, it sounds like they're maybe going to go with LaShawn McCoy. The key thing here, this guy's a big-time Cowboy hater. He's a big Dak hater. And so, of course, they got a guy.
Be a good contrast there.
Of course, it's always Cowboy relevant, right? When they got to talk crap, it's always Skip Bayless pro-Cowboy when he's a schmuck. He's not even a Cowboy fan. And then LaShawn McCoy, the hater. Like Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharpe.
Skip Bayless is pro Cowboy in such a way that makes you almost not want to rep the star. So,
we just got to ignore him.
We can't let people like Skip keep us from repping it.
Of course not, never. We keep him from repping it. So, anyways, the point here is that the former NFL star LaShawn McCoy, of course, now he's part of FS1's Speak, which I was telling you, that's the thing he's got with David Hellman and Emmanuel Acho. He's expected to have an extended audition with Skip Bayless once Shannon Sharpe takes his contractual buyout from Fox Sports. Probably at the end of the NBA Finals, I think it was, right? So, now the Bills also, free agency-wise, I'm telling you, this is a Bills channel right now. The Bills are making a late splash in free agency. They re-signed Ed Oliver not re-signed him, but they extended him in a nose tackle. And today they are picking up another standout-type pass rusher, former Rams pass rusher who played with Von Miller over there. Now they reunite. Leonard Floyd. He's getting a 1-year deal after 9 sacks. Not bad. 9 sacks last season. Buffalo adds a key player to the edge. Just going to let you know, guys, he's getting a 1-year deal worth up to $9 million. It's $7 million base value. But this is similar to maybe what you'll see from a Dorrance Armstrong when he leaves Dallas. Because that's about where, Dorrance had, 7, 8, 9 sacks last year. Rotational kind of guy. Leonard Floyd, similar in that sense. And so I think next year, you might see us get maybe a compensatory pick, from whoever decides to pick up Dorrance Armstrong, assuming that we let his contract expire and he goes somewhere else. Brandon James Shea in the house, kicking it off here into second place for the week so far. Yes, Brandon in the house. What did he have to say?
Of course. And he said, Leslie Frazier visits with the Packers, Commanders, and the Giants. So,
good for
obviously,
them.
Yeah, the NFC East is trying to stay busy, but they can't
always
even come close to us.
Always trying to copy and emulate that star. Let me update the board, baby, as I
but thank you,
James
Brandon. I appreciate you, of course,
always,
as always.
Yes.
So, let me go ahead and hit up real quick. Nate Rosario, hello and hi. Skeptical fan, yes, and I am super MCW today in this stream. So, Bruce got the toxic juice said, Skip say less. Ain't a Cowboy fan, he's an actor.
Exactly. That's the truth right there. He ain't no Cowboy fan. Never. Skip Bayless is not a Cowboy fan as far as I'm concerned. He's exactly the opposite of a Cowboy fan in my book.
So, Thomas Gary said, Skip Bayless is a schmuck.
Schmuck to the third power.
Capital schmuck, by the way.
Capital S on the schmuck. Guys, so moving on. News broke today, later on in the day, that some player on the Colts was in major trouble today. Major trouble with some kind of gambling situation. So, okay, not a Cowboy, so we're good. But yet somehow still Cowboy relevant, and I'll explain in a minute. But the NFL has officially announced that they're probing right now, investigating Colts cornerback Isaiah Rodgers for possible betting illegal betting for as far as the NFL
that's
is concerned. And we've been hearing about this with the Detroit Lions and Calvin Ridley last year, and a lot of these players are getting not a lot, but a lot of these players are getting caught gambling. So Isaiah Rodgers, guys, he's being investigated for possible violations of the NFL's gambling policy. The Colts acknowledged that they are aware of the investigation and have no further comment at this time. So what did he do? Multiple sources familiar with this investigation are saying that the player, number one, is Isaiah Rodgers. He's a 6th-round pick entering the final year of a 4-year, $3.4 million contract. He's only getting paid $2.7 million, I think, is getting hit on the cap this year. But here's the thing. It was a sportsbook account that was opened under the name of an associate of Isaiah Rodgers. And this is per the sources. Now, approximately 100 bets were placed in that account, through that account, over an undisclosed amount of time, including on Colts games. So he's a Colts player betting through an associate on Colts games that he's determining the outcome for. Most of these bets were in the $25 to $50 range. So mini bets.
I was just about to say, can you imagine losing your entire career and everything and all that because you basically supposedly stole like a candy bar from the vending machine? Because that is the equivalent of what he is doing.
He just did it. He just kept stealing
money wise.
He kept stealing. He kept stealing the money from the candy bar from the vending machine 100 times. So again, they said there was at least one low 4-figure bet. So you're looking at $1,000, $9,000. I don't know. I guess it'd be closer to like $3,000, let's say, or something like that. That's the only big bet.
Either way,
he made, and he was slated. This is where the Cowboy relevance comes into play. He was slated to be Stephon Gilmore's cornerback replacement. Stephon Gilmore came to Big D, and the replacement for the Colts was going to be Isaiah Rodgers. Now he's looking at most probably a year-long or more. What is that called when they just let it keep
suspension?
Going? Yeah, but it's suspension. But it was it's kind of like Gregory got it.
Disqualified? No, not disqualified. Man, crap! I can't remember the word now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought it was a
never-ending suspension. Basically, I forgot what it's called. Indefinite suspension.
Okay.
So
indefinite. I didn't know indefinite was the word you were looking for.
Well, there you go. You got it. Indefinite suspension.
I look for a different word than suspension.
The suspension is that's one word I didn't know. But suspension. The indefinite suspension with the NFL is probably what's coming, Isaiah Rodgers' way, is what I'm going to say on that. And Isaiah Rodgers also responded to this evening, addressing the current reports about the situation. He said, quote, "I want to take full responsibility for my actions. I know I have made mistakes. I am willing to do whatever it takes to repair the situation. The last thing I ever wanted to do was to be a distraction to the Colts organization, my coaches, teammates. I let people down I care about. I made an error in judgment. I'm going to work hard to make sure that those mistakes are rectified through this process. It's an honor to play in the NFL, and I've never taken that lightly. I'm very sorry for all of this." Now he's going to probably lose a portion of his career and income because of silly $25 to $50 bets.
Yep, you guys are saying it right here. Stupid. Thomas Garrett said it. He's suspended hands down. Mike Aldana said he was supposed to take over Gilmore's spot. Yep. Thomas Garrett adding it there. He can forget about that annual salary.
Yeah.
Bruce saying, how the fuck do you lose thousands of millions? Over $50?
$25 bets, $50 bets, 100 of these he's made over the course of his betting spree. And one low-level bet, maybe $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $3,000 bet. Guys, that's like probably most of these guys' paycheck. Like for a couple of games. That's so stupid. It's so stupid to throw your career or almost pushing your career out because he's on a contract year now. So he's not going to miss a lot of money now. A lot of money and a lot of opportunities. So,
congratulations, you played yourself.
You got to learn from the mistakes there. And again, we've seen everybody in the NFL, all these other players getting suspended. Again, this was already occurring, so he couldn't stop it from happening. But you can bet that there's other guys out there also probably going to get caught here in the next couple of months or so. The key is now that everybody's seen a whole year of these suspensions, are they going to get smart here and stop trying to, get away from, get over the system and trying to sneak bets in? Why? Just play football. Bet after your career is over in the NFL. Speaking of end of your career in the NFL, let's come back to the Dallas Cowboys and talk about a guy that today was released. All right, we talked about him yesterday, of course, Antonio Callaway. wide receiver on our practice squad. He was arrested yesterday in Miami. We discussed that. So the Cowboys released wide receiver Antonio Callaway, former Browns drafted receiver, joined. He's been bouncing around the league a little bit. We discussed that. His last opportunity might be coming to a close now with Dallas because of an off-field matter once again for Antonio Callaway. He was arrested, as I said yesterday, Saturday in Miami for driving with a suspended license. The Cowboys signed Callaway last year to a reserve futures contract. We signed him last year to put him on our practice squad, and then we basically re-signed him again to a reserve futures contract this January after the season ended. Just trying to see if there's anything there, for training camp, a camp body type guy. And even with this going on, guys, he had not played. He's from the Florida Gators, right? Hasn't played a regular season NFL game since 2020, guys. I mean, the guy lost 2021, 2022. Now, 2023 looks very bleak for him. So he hasn't played since 2020. He spent time in the XFL, Callaway, during the the NFL's not the NFL, but the XFL's initial relaunch in 2020. Then he emerged with a promising rookie season that he had in Cleveland. He had 43 catches, I think 586 yards, 5 touchdowns when he came to the NFL. But then has been able to really get over that first year, advance anything more. He's been just reversing himself and not even close to replicating the 42 catches and 586 yards. The Cowboys are the 4th team to sign Callaway. Again, remember, guys, drafted by the Browns. Since the Browns, he spent time in Miami, in Kansas City. The Browns waived him in the middle of the 2019 season. Callaway received a 10-game suspension for violating the NFL substance abuse policy, with smoking weed. And again, there was a harsher penalty back then, prior to the 2020 CBA being ratified. He's only played in 5 games since these issues. Again, since 2020. He's the last time he played football. So he is now off the Cowboy team. The Cowboys worked out a bunch of guys today, as far as, once this is going on, the Cowboys releasing Antonio Callaway, there was a reason for that. Antonio Callaway, I'm sorry. Yeah. And here's the thing, guys. The Cowboys had 7 free agents working out today. 7 free agents. And most of them were receivers or corners. So we had quarterback Jacob Eason, which actually I've discussed him in the past. He was a guy that I think came on late to the draft scene, and I think we picked him up. He was an undrafted. We picked him up in the rookie camp. Obviously, he was not signed. We worked him out anyways today, along with Bryce Perkins, another quarterback. We had two cornerbacks, Jordan Miller and Thacarius Keys. They both were also cornerbacks that we worked out today. Oh, one last thing. Eason, he was an ex-4th rounder, by the way. Now, there were 3 receivers we worked out. Lynn Bowden, N'Keal Harry. Now, he's a known guy. He's a former 1st rounder. Remember that. I think from the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, Jordan Miller, the cornerback, he won a championship in the XFL with the Arlington Renegades. So, out of all these guys who worked out, the one guy we signed was a guy I haven't mentioned yet, and it's this guy right here on your screen, guys. Tyron Johnson, wide receiver. So we got rid of Antonio Callaway. He's gone off the team. Whoop. And now we have Tyron Johnson, formerly of the Chargers, and other. I'll explain about him in a minute. Now, instead of having 89 spots taken up out of 90, we're back to 88 players on our full roster. You can only stack it up to 90 players. And remember, no Alarcon this year as that 91st player. He has to earn a spot now. So, again, no Callaway. He's gone from the Cowboys. Remember that, guys. He's out of here. So we replaced one receiver with another receiver. And I'll explain a couple things about this new player we got in. Again, think about it, guys. Don't get all crazy. Oh, he's a great player. He's a superstar. Please, chill out. He's fast. He's got some qualities that maybe are nice. What are we replacing here? We're not replacing a top 3 or 4 receiver, guys. We're replacing the bottom receiver. We're replacing a practice squad receiver with another practice squad type receiver. So don't start crowning this guy. Some people out there already crowning this guy. Oh, I can't wait. Calm the fuck down. Jalen Tolbert's got a better chance than showing out than this guy. So Tyron Johnson has found a home with his 9th NFL team. Just to give you an idea, don't get your hopes too high. 5th year wideout in 9 teams. 5 years, 9 teams. You see the Cowboy workout opportunity today. And the Cowboys then, shortly after that, announced their agreement, the deal's in place, that we signed him. He's an originally 2019 Houston Texans undrafted free agent. So already he was undrafted. He has since jumped around from the Texans to the Bills, Carolina Panthers, Los Angeles Chargers, Jacksonville Jaguars, the Vegas Raiders, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the San Francisco 49ers.
It might be easier to name the teams he wasn't on.
I'm telling you, there's 22 teams he wasn't on and 9 that he has been. So now the Cowboys are his 9th team. The Texans reacquired Johnson, and he finished his college career at Oklahoma State on multiple occasions. The Niners then waived him last month. At 27 years old, he played in only 4 games with the Chargers and Texans last year. His most notable NFL work came as a kick returner. So again, are the Cowboys looking at another practice squad kick returner type guy here? I don't know, but he's kind of a bigger guy. He's fast. The Cowboys have kind of that role covered as kick returns, punt returns with Cavante Turpin. We know Deuce is back there, a couple other guys, the Malik Davis. But by signing Tyron Johnson, he is a speedy wide receiver. His 40-yard dash is he ran the 40 in 4.34. Extremely fast. So that's good there. It's going to maybe help stretch the field if he ever gets any kind of bonus time on the field and can make the 53, which, again, he's practice squad. So right now, if you want to look at the speed on the offensive side, maybe at receiver, right now the Cowboys may have their fastest receiving core that we've had since over a decade ago. We had Terry Glenn, Joey Galloway, Brandon Cooks, now Turpin, Tyron Johnson. These guys are extremely fast. We're going back to like the 2000s. When we go to this kind of receiving core, as far as last time we saw receivers as a group, as a whole, from top to bottom, being this overall fast. So speed is definitely showing up on the receiving side, at least this year, which is a big jump in compared to the last decade and a half. Let's just call it that way. So, but again, will he even make the team? I gotta throw it out there. Will he even make the damn team? And that's who knows.
Lost in translation cracked me up real quick. He's like the double reverse specialist.
Yeah.
So real quick, Mike Aldana throwing out there, just saying a speed wide receiver, but he needs to work on his route running.
Very bad route running. He's going to be a guy that's a practice squad at best. Do some kick returns if in a pinch. He's not going to be there to start or to be a superstar or even to play the 4th or 5th or even 6th wide receiver role. So, anyways, any other quick comments on our new wide receiver, Tyron Johnson?
Self-frame Rippers, a.k.a. Voodoo Alpha, much love. He said the Cowboys need their lateral speed receivers. So, I just want to say, whoops, my bad. Just because he said, just like that, MCF destroyed my XFL season. I recorded all the games so I could watch them during my downtime.
So, how did I destroy it? What? I missed it.
I don't think he knew the results of the season.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry about that, man. It's been like 2 weeks. I didn't know he's still watching it. I'm sorry.
Again, sorry about that. Whoopsie.
But, Arlington won. I'm sorry about that, yeah. Dallas, go Cowboys, I guess.
It's not. It's about the journey, not the destination, right, Boo? Sorry, I just had to make that little joke there. So,
make sure Voodoo, I know he knows about computers. Make sure you put on the ability to receive gifts here on MyCowboysFamily. Everybody do that if you haven't done it yet. I see some people that don't have memberships yet, and I think we have to wait till the next drops, like Mike Aldana, Thomas Garrett, Frame Rippers, Eric Black, much love, one of the OGs here. So, you guys, if you guys go into your join, and then you can do like join memberships, but then you can or find the little icon, accept gifts. But the way I know how to do it for sure is if you go to the join, those 3 little dots up at the top. When you click the join, there's 3 dots at the top of that screen.
Yeah.
You click those 3 vertical dots, and then it'll tell you, gifting options. You go to gifting options, and then you say yes. You move the little nub to yes, accept gifts from this channel. You gotta do it on every channel. You just can't do it on one. It doesn't happen to all your channels you're on. You have to go to each channel and accept gifts in the chat. Only through live streams, only through premieres, you can gift. If you're in the membership, you can gift it to the chat, and somebody will randomly get one. I heard that the more you use the account, the more you're chilling in the chats and stuff, the better chance you have to get.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
The membership. So it's done it, but they do some kind of analytics. Who knows what YouTube does? But I want to make sure everyone had a chance to grab a membership when it does become available and someone drops a gift in that sense. So much love to those that haven't done it yet and will be getting it, I'm sure, one day soon.
So an NDM Boogie, yes, we are only 11 Sundays away
Woo.
from kickoff. So
can't wait.
It's as closer than we think, right? Eric Black, much love, saying we have a vertical speed receiver. Kellen just didn't know how to use the fella.
Very true. And now we have Brandon Cooks, who can do some of that stuff as well. Now this guy is our third string Brandon Cooks. I don't know what to say, but he's not going to be on the field doing it. He might help in practice though. Work some things in, and maybe we can see some things we can use Brandon Cooks in or other guys in. Brandon Cooks is still 4.3, right? In the 40s. So I think he's maybe he's a 4.4 now. Still very fast. We got a guy now that can do that as well. But of course, Turpin is there. Deuce Vaughn. These guys are smaller, so it's hard to go deep on a vertical when it comes to the height situations on these guys. But when it comes to a little bit taller guy, a receiver, a true receiver, not running back out of the backfield, then this is the guy you might want to try to sneak in there sometimes. I doubt he'll really get any opportunities if he even makes the team for the Cowboys. I don't know. So I wouldn't put all my eggs in this basket is all I'm trying to say.
Agreed. Mike Aldana said practice squad TJ.
Yeah, that's pretty much the facts on that. I mean, he's going to be, Tyron Johnson. Hopefully he could be the 53. If he makes the 53, then he's shown blocking abilities and tackling abilities on special teams. That means he's, showing that he's going to be a vital part of our offense on some downs. Do you see that happening? I don't. I don't see it happening when we have Jalen Tolbert as a 4 and a bunch of other guys like Simi Fehoko and others that we've been keeping around to see if we can get something out of them, along with a bunch of rookies and undrafted guys. It's going to be impossible for TJ or I'd say Tyron Johnson to make this team. So, as far as the 53, but practice squad, ding, for sure. Now, today at the Star, what was going on? Well, other than these moves, Galloway going, and Tyron Johnson coming to the Cowboys, we got to talk about coaching for a quick second, and kind of an event that was going on at the Cowboys at the Star today. The Cowboys are having a coaching clinic for local high schools.
Oh, that's good.
Cowboys are hosting our own coaches. So McCarthy and his coaching staff will be at this clinic. This is the first time the Cowboys are doing this since the pandemic hit. We could not do it. Mike McCarthy is addressing the youth and high school coaches from the Dallas area, Arlington area. So here's the cool thing about this. It was at the Ford Center at the Star. And again, I'm going to give you an example of what the rundown looked for today. So, afternoon. Oh, what happened?
Woo!
Hey, Purple Potato Waffle. Part of that membership now.
And there it is.
Who did that? I can't see it.
Skeptical fan.
Skeptical.
Much love. It just said he gifted a membership there, so thank you so much, Skeptical. I'm assuming that's one of the previously gifted memberships.
I don't
so not 100% sure unless.
Nope, that's a new one. He just dropped there. So
well, there you go. So
much
Lucky
love.
Purple Potato Waffle is the new member. So drop them if you got them, guys.
Yes, and congrats to Purple Potato, and much love, much thanks. And by the way, he breaks the tie here, baby, because Mr. Skeptical Fan now. Well, first and foremost, he actually is. I didn't put him. I didn't have Dwayne in first place. That was wrong of me. I think I messed up there, but actually now Skeptical Fan. Let me write it. Skeptical Fan is in first place, and I'm sorry about Dwayne. Dwayne Broussard is in second place.
It's all good. That's half the fun of the live stream, right? You get to see these adjustments and boards change. As in the moment.
And in third place is Brandon James Shea. So we got the board fixed now. Skeptical in first, Dwayne Broussard in second, Brandon James Shea here. Kicking off a new week, guys, in third place. And also, the reason I'm also saying Skeptical is in first place is because now he's broken the tie between him and Jason when it comes to the gifting leaders. 16 gifted memberships from Skeptical Fan, 15 for Jason Renfro in a battle for who wins this month. Let's see what happens. Still early on. So, guys, today, June 5th, at the Star, Ford Center, the Cowboys had their coaching staff there to speak, and we had John Fossil opening up things. He was talking about blocking, tackling, and takeaways, and also drill work basics. Remember, they're teaching coaches in the high school level in the area. Then we had, an hour later, defensive line play. Who was teaching this? Sheriff Floyd, our defensive line assistant. Remember, guys, Sheriff Floyd is, kind of helping out there. Aiden Dirty, where he's helping him out at the defensive line coach, assistant line coach. The key, though, is that he's brought a new flavor here with the Mozzie Smith and Hankins inside. Sheriff Floyd is actually going to be a guy that's he told Cowboy media that the Cowboys are going to be pushing and just bulldozing guys backwards, not trying to like cover run gaps. It's just trying to make everything messy for running backs and quarterbacks to step in the pocket, to find the hole if they're running it. So I'm just saying, like, Sheriff Floyd, very important guy to keep in mind for our Cowboy team this year. A little new flavor, a little new twist to that run defense. But he's talking about defensive line play. He's a former defensive lineman himself. And, about 30 minutes later, linebackers section, which was done by Scott McCurley, of course, our linebackers coach. Offensive tempo, about 30 minutes after that, was done by Chase Haslett. He's our assistant tight ends coach, I think former player as well. Then they had the quarterback section for these coaches to learn on. And who spoke on quarterbacks? Evan Harrington, the Cowboys' offensive assistant coach. About 30 minutes after that, 20 minutes after that, the secondary discussion came about. And none other than the great Dan Quinn spoke about the secondary. It just shows you how Dan Quinn, is involved in every part. He's a defensive line guy, right? Defensive line, that's his specialties, right? But he's talking about secondary. That's what's great about Dan Quinn. He knows everything.
I was just about to say, when it comes to the defense, even though Dan Quinn obviously does a very good job of delegating and trusting the people under him, he basically does know what's going on everywhere at all times.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of the way the Cowboy team, the players on defense that they are. They kind of know where everybody is at all times on the play, and that's the way he teaches it. And it's kind of the same way he also goes about him understanding everything, being part of it, being intricate and detailed about things. It's because he's fully involved in every level of the defense. So Dan Quinn spoke. By the way, he said this, talked about how he talked a lot about the fundamentals of great tackling. And he was asked who the high school coaches should watch on the Cowboys. So, again, he was talking about tackling, Dan Quinn, and these high school coaches said, well, for good tackling on your team, on the Cowboys, who do we watch to give this great example? And Dan Quinn said the top tacklers you want to watch for the Cowboys and the way they tackle and the way their techniques and how to tackle, be a great tackler, Malik Hooker, J-Ron Curse, and Donovan Wilson. What's the one thing they have in common?
Not sure. What?
They're all safeties. I just named all three safeties, baby, our starting safeties. So Malik Hooker, J-Ron Curse, and Donovan Wilson, they're all run support. Tackling. They're great tacklers. This, again, I know McCarthy's on the screen, but that's the Dan Quinn has everybody playing to the best of their skill set. And Donovan Wilson's and Malik Hooker's and J-Ron Curse's are fantastic at run support. Of course, they get, catch goes over the middle, whatever, they make the tackle as well. But we know they're run support specialists as safeties, which is a key here. It's great. He didn't mention linebackers. He didn't mention defensive linemen. I know he was talking about the secondaries, secondary kind of discussion. But that's the thing. Like he said, look at my safeties. They do it right. So interesting little. I thought it was a little interesting little back and forth there for Dan Quinn, and then it finished up the whole I guess this
coaching
this event
seminar.
Yeah, this coaching seminar with Remembering Your Why, which was Raymond Chinyoung. He's the assistant offensive line coach. Again, another new coach that we picked up. But again, guys, just kind of an insight here with what the Cowboys were doing today on the field, led by Mike McCarthy. Now, there were other people that spoke today from the front office side of things. Of course, always got to be cautious when we talk about the front office because always nerve-wracking and always nervous. And you might see a clown show sighting. And we did see that, unfortunately. But I'm curious to know what you all think about what was said and discussed today by these two guys, Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones. The Jonses. The Jones crew here, the Jones clown crew. So, let's get it on. Now, first and foremost, let's be fair. Let's just see. We always mess around with the clown show. We know they got a tendency to be clowns. But let's just start with the nice pictures here and say, Stephen Jones, what went down today? Why was he speaking? Well, baby, Stephen Jones today was at the AT&T Stadium announcing the East-West Shrine Game. Now, we knew about this a couple of days ago here in MCF, but of course now, that it's official. They want to make, they're going to make a kind of a press conference about it.
Like you said, now that it's official, they're officially kind of promoting it and talking about it and all that stuff.
And so the game is going to be played at the Ford Center, at the Star, February 1st, 2024. All right, it's obviously next year. But the East-West Shrine Bowl is moving now to the Dallas area for this 2024 Shrine Bowl. The event the event will practice and will play. The practices will be there. The game is going to be there at the Star. And that's, of course, the Cowboys practice facility. It's crazy. I think the 99th game of the East-West Shrine Bowl, the 99th game, talking about 99 years, I'm assuming here, will be that game there in Dallas. So on February 1st, 2024. Also, who was there in this announcement today? Bob Lilly, legendary Cowboy legend, the legend Bob Lilly, at the Star today for the announcement that the Shrine Bowl, the East-West Shrine Bowl will be in Dallas at the Star for the 99th time. Or 99th time they have the Shrine Bowl, but it'll be in February at the Star. Now, outside of that, Stephen Jones has then asked a lot of other questions, and it started off with if there's any interest in this guy right here, DeAndre Hopkins. Again, I gotta keep answering this because they keep asking this, but Stephen Jones said this about if there's any interest in DeAndre Hopkins. Quote, he's not on this team right now. We went down the road with Brandon, meaning Brandon Cooks. We're very comfortable with Cooks. We're really pleased with our receiving group. Now, I do want to say one thing, Stephen Jones. For a Cowboys team that likes their receiving group of the core of receivers we have right now, and no interest in DeAndre Hopkins, we did bring in a lot of receivers today. 3 or 4 receivers to do these workouts. Like N'Keal Harry. We, of course, did sign Tyler Johnson. So, again, we're working out receivers, sign a receiver, but we don't really need receivers. Interesting there. Choice of words there by Stephen Jones. But anyways, that's one little thing there he said. Now, he also talked about touching base with our extension players here, our players that are on contract years or are looking for an extension, like Trayvon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Terrence Steele, Dak Prescott, and on and on and on. I can keep going here. So, Stephen Jones said the Cowboys have, quote, touched base. They've checked in with the agents for CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, Steele, hoping to still get some deals done. Now, he's hopeful. He acknowledged that players, have been generally more willing to wait to get paid. Like, basically, let's let it, like Trayvon Diggs might be wanting to push this to next year because he knows, like I said here, he's going to have damn good stats when he has Gilmore on the other side and the defensive front.
Exactly. There's always usually a handful of players who have a vested interest and basically just sitting there and doing nothing, not really holding it back, not really progressing it forward, though, just because, well, things look a little better in the future.
There's no need to go.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
go after that big contract now. We get a bigger one next year.
He's fine, just chilling, waiting, letting his team kind of deal with it, and he's not in a rush.
Yeah, and so that's just Trayvon Diggs. We're talking about all 4 of these guys and more of these guys. But Stephen Jones just basically said he hopes the Cowboys can, quote, start to chip away on these extensions for guys like Terrence Steele, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Trayvon Diggs. I know you got the full quote, baby. Mm-hmm. So let me know about what Stephen Jones said about this specific thing and our players that need to be re-signed, given extensions. What's going on? What did Stephen Jones say?
He said, the timing has got to be right for those guys, and it's got to be right for us. Our goal would be to hopefully start to chip away at this. Our focus is also on winning in 2023. No specific order. It's just kind of when opportunity arises. They've got to be motivated to want to do it. It seems like more and more guys want to wait. And I understand why, because usually the price goes up from one year to the next. People don't seem to be as in that type of hurry. But if the opportunity is there, and we sure would like to get 1, 2, 3 of these guys signed, we'd love to do more than one.
So again, Stephen Jones basically kind of implying that the players want to hold off on these deals more than the front office wants to not offer them a deal. At the same time, we know how cheap this clown show is. I mean, we all know what happens when deals are being thrown, when money's being thrown around, they're checking in, doing due diligence. That's clown show talk. And the reason I say that is because we know that when he's checking in and offering deals, it's usually lowballing. It's usually making the process of negotiations be tedious, be more contentious, and take longer to complete. So it's partially them maybe pushing away as well, these players, but also we know that if these players wait, they're probably going to get more money most of the time. They're risking the injury situation. They're risking certain things. At the same time, though, the ceiling is high for players that want to wait, especially with the up and coming, all these deals, whether it's gambling, media deals, whatever it is, TV deals, all these things are continue to explode the salary cap.
And I know I saw a comment way back when we were talking about some of the gambling stuff, basically just saying like, oh, the NFL is fine with it because they're just going to be making money and stuff. Yeah, but the NFL has a huge vested interest in making sure players stay far away from anything that could be seen as not good. So just throwing that out there. Yep. Remember, they don't want any kind of insinuation that there's a collusion or something. So now Mike Aldana throwing out there, so we're putting off contracts as usual.
Not really. I mean, again, it sounds like whether we're putting it off or not, or what I think is the Joneses are lowballing, and at the same time, this is both sides here, the Cowboy players and just any player in the NFL would maybe want to wait a little longer on these contracts. They risk an injury situation, but they also have a chance to make more money every year they wait, because if they continue to produce, then they will just make more money if they wait till next year, because all the money is going to keep going up the salary cap goes up, which means more money for players, which we knew was going to happen. And that's why we're saying, you have to strike a little earlier when you want that guy. If the Cowboys don't want Trayvon Diggs, and I want to know what the plan is. I want to know what the plan is, because he's going to look like a freaking superstar this year, I believe, because you got Stephon Gilmore on the opposite side of him. So, along with the pass rush, along with Dan Quinn's defense. All these things factor into seeing Trayvon Diggs going to have a fantastic year. He's going to be asking for not $20 million or $21 like now. He's going to be getting $24, $25 million next year. And then that'll be the excuse for the Joneses. We can't afford that. Well, you should have maybe went for 22 this year, maybe.
Exactly. Remember, there's not going to be any kind of surprises or whatever, right? We know heading into this that this is exactly the results that are going to happen, short of some kind of, knock on wood, catastrophic setback, right? So I really don't understand why the Cowboys, like you said, are almost like hemming and hawing when it comes to trying to get something done, at least in Trayvon's case in particular. Like you said, the other guys,
you can wait on Terrence Steele. You can wait on the injury situation.
It would be ideal, but you can wait, right? Like you said.
Well, again, Terrence Steele, you can wait.
The most confusing one.
Terrence Steele, you can wait. Dak, you can wait. Terrence Steele, Terrence Steele with the injury, I would wait. But then CeeDee Lamb, you got a fifth-year option. You can obviously you can wait till to go up some too. But the cornerback spot without a safety net, there is no waiting really here. It's just if you wait, it's just going to cost you more if you want to keep this guy. So that's what it comes down to. So Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, they seem to think they know what they're doing. We'll have to see what happens. Now, let's keep it going here, because Stephen Jones then spoke about the fact that is there any position that the Cowboys would like to add some depth in before training camp? And Stephen Jones spoke about this, baby. Take it away.
Yeah, he said, quote, "We always look to improve our football team, but with Jordan Lewis looking pretty definitive that he'll go on PUP, we could probably use a little depth at corner, just for numbers. Obviously a kicker, and then we'll see if we want to trade any guys out there after we're done with these last couple of weeks. We obviously have another week here to look at this, but there is a chance we might trade some guys out, guys we decide that we don't want to take to camp. We replace that guy with another guy in the same position."
Now, let me explain this. Now, it sounds like we're going to be doing wheeling and dealing and trading. But he said trading guys out. That doesn't mean we're going to be making trades left and right, guys. What that means is we're going to be moving guys out, let's say at the bottom of the roster, the lesser guy. Let's say like an Antonio Callaway, and replacing him with a Tyron Johnson. I mean, that's what he's talking about, trying to make the team better. Don't get your hopes high. We're going to go for some big name guy. We're trying to make the team better by getting some of the bottom of the barrel out, and then replacing that with a little bit better talent at the bottom of the barrel, the depth. That's what it's about, guys. Again, taking a chance we're going to trade some guys out doesn't mean we're going to make trades. So, again, Stephen Jones, just in case those that heard trade and think, oh my goodness, we're going to make trades. No, it just means he's just a figure of speech kind of thing there, where he's saying this guy gets moved, we release him, we move another guy in. That's trading a guy out. and replacing the depth of the roster. So that's great context on that quote, but I wanted to add more clarification to that.
So and real quick before you touch on the next thing, I do want to remind people here chilling in the chat, hopping in here for the first time. We do have some gifted memberships, kind of I think locked up and loaded on deck, right? So if you go ahead and click on gifts, and then basically you have to say accept all gifts, and then that allows you to hopefully become an MCF member here.
Yeah, and if not, then when someone does drop it, then you become eligible for that. But as long as you do it for the channel, it has to be done for every channel individually. So yeah, if you haven't done it yet on this channel, make sure you do that on your the options you have there with gifting options or gift options to receive gifts here on this channel. So, and of course, outside of Super Chat membership and gifting membership, there's 4 other ways to drop a little love here on My Cowboys Family in case you wanted to.
You have the Cash App, # MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link for our international friends, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link down below. Let your comments show up on screen just like a Super Chat.
Oh, yeah. So appreciate everybody once again. Much love to those in the house. Purple Potato Waffle. Free membership for them. Dwayne Broussard, that was from Skeptical Fan, by the way. Dwayne Broussard with the pre-stream or in-stream there, and Brandon James Shea there. Also, much love to you guys. Kicking off the board this week, Mark Hosepian, 58 points on the stream boss, and of course, the man dominating the boards last week at the last second, David S., Cash App King and the sponsor of the week. No Cash App, though, this week. As of now, it's empty. Now, going back to things, baby. Let's get back to it and pick up where we left off. When it comes to Stephen Jones, he was asked about looking to add a bigger running back. Zeke? Well, not Zeke, but just adding a bigger running back. A guy who can do the short yardage stuff. A guy who can block. A guy who can... Okay, so we know that means a Zeke-like guy. What did Stephen Jones say about, are we going to add a new running back or not?
So, Stephen Jones said, well, we added Lipke. Lipke. I still really struggle with his name, I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to call him Hunter. He fits a little bit of that mold. And then Ronald Jones that we got out at Tampa, he is a strong runner. But everything is up. We're always looking for ways to improve the roster. If we see something that would make sense for us, then we make that move.
Yeah, so again, running back wise, he didn't mention Zeke. Jerry Jones speaks on him in a little bit when it comes to Zeke, but no Zeke comment there. But running back, basically for the power, for the Zeke kind of stuff, Cowboys looking at Ronald Jones and Hunter Lipke, the fullback, undrafted fullback, as the top options, it sounds like right now, to replace the Zeke snaps, so to speak, right? So that's number one. Now, what about other free agent guys here, other players depth-wise we want to add to this team? What about kickers? So Stephen Jones has asked, what's the plan for the Cowboys to add a kicker before training camp? What does Stephen Jones have to say to that, baby?
So he said they, quote, don't have anything that's dialed in, ready to go right now. That's one of the great things about these leagues. It gives you an opportunity to watch these kickers just like we found Turpin last year. Certainly Will, as in Will McClay, and his staff are doing a great job of evaluating the guys. Got a couple guys that we think are of interest, and we'll see where we end up. Whoever is not on a team that we can look at, we're looking at to improve. So,
why are they waiting was another question.
Yeah, so Steven said, we don't see the guy that we want to trigger on yet, but we'll work through that. So,
what do you think about that, baby? So you're the special teams guy.
I mean, hey, they're looking for Goldilocks. Again, not really sure what exactly it is that they're looking for as far as guy that is available that can do the job versus price and maybe like the comfort level of the Cowboys. Because again, one of the things that we've talked about is, we've mentioned all these other free agents and stuff like that, but the Cowboys are clearly looking in a slightly different direction when it comes to these like XFL guys and stuff like that. So to me, it means that the Cowboys are trying to get the best, most talented guy for as cheap as humanly possible.
I agree. I concur. And you know what else? The key, you said it, baby, in this quote. The key is two things. Cavante Turpin, which we got from the USFL because of who? He mentioned the name too, Will McClay, who did the deep dive on a guy like Turpin. But he's like a skilled player, right? They can do a lot of different things, maybe on offense if you include him there. But obviously he's a return specialist. It sounds like Will McClay is going to be finding our specialists on the special teams through the XFL, USFL, and they're trusting Will McClay to get these guys get the best guy of the group and get him for the cheapest, instead of going for Mason Crosby or Robbie Gould or Matt Prater and on and on. So I don't think the Cowboys, with this comment today, referring to Cavante Turpin, USFL guy, referring to Will McClay, who did the deep dive on Cavante Turpin, this tells me the Cowboys are going USFL or XFL when it comes to kicker. That's what it feels like.
Yeah,
me.
so
no,
I mean,
for me, it's almost makes my. I'll be shocked if it's Mason Crosby or Gold.
I was just about to say, if they do anything else, you could probably knock me over at the feather at this point, just because, like I said, it seems very, very clear that they have an idea, and it's just a matter of waiting for their Goldilocks. Like I said,
there is no right now. There's nobody kicking out there. Like there's no Robbie Gould kicking. Let's see how he does this week. Like you bring him in, you get a freaking workout with him, and you see how he does. Crosby. No, the Cowboys are not doing that. They're waiting for the cheapest option, a guy who's unknown. Again, I've named guys like Luis Aguilar and, Blewett and these other guys from the USFL. I'm sure there's some XFL guys that, in the end, we have to trust in one guy and one guy only. And I have usually no problem with this. But, it is the special. You can hit or miss when it comes to kickers. Will McClay is the guy you have to trust in this. Will McClay is the guy that the Cowboys are trusting. The front office is trusting in bringing in a special teams guy like, Cavante Turpin, like a kicker. Right now, it sounds like Will McClay is the key there. So, I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Is that everything that was said by him today? The answer is yes. As far as Mr. Jerry Jr. here. Yeah, Stephen Jones. So, now we got Jerry Jones. He walked up to the podium and he spoke today. As we get into the end of this thing, I do want to touch on something McCarthy-ish.
Senior Jones.
Yeah, Senior Jones. Daddy Jones. So, Jerry Jones today, guys, first and foremost, no plans for a 2023 Ring of Honor induction. So no induction of guess who? You guessed it, guys. Jimmy Johnson.
Are we really that surprised?
I mean, again, 2021? 2 years ago, he was promising. Can't wait to get Jimmy Johnson. It was Jimmy Johnson's day, Hall of Fame inductee. Oh, we're gonna get Jimmy in there in the Ring of Honor, and then 2 years later, it's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? So Jerry's basically saying, again, here's what he said in context, I guess you could say, of what he said. His answer was when it came to any inductions in 2023 into the Ring of Honor. He said, quote, well, I'll look at that later as we get into the year because we've got a Hall of Fame inductee that's front and center. And he's talking about is DeMarcus Ware, front and center. So he basically almost implying like I'm looking at this guy first. DeMarcus Ware is the guy I'm looking at for. I want him to have his time, Hall of Fame time and all that stuff, but I also want to get him front and center for the Cowboy Ring of Honor. So the Ring of Honor sounds like what Jerry Jones is planning for DeMarcus Ware eventually. Jimmy Johnson, nowhere to be found. He did not talk about Jimmy Johnson, did not refer. He really, really still hates old Jimmy.
One thing at a time. But yeah, honestly, it just makes all of Jerry's comments that he made from a year or two ago just that much more gross. I'm sorry, but
I agree.
I almost sort of preferred if he just kind of continued to do what he's kind of doing now, which is basically just like dancing around the issue and not really addressing it head on, just because he addressed it head on and we're still sitting here like,
Well, again, Jerry doesn't stop talking. He actually continued by talking about contracts. Outside of Jimmy Johnson, the jinx of situations there, he also talked about Dak Prescott and his contract and all contracts. So, baby, what did he have to say? I think you have better insight on this one here. As far as any of these contracts, I think Dak's contract is the main one, but do you have to have other contracts done before you get to, another contract on the team like Traylon Diggs?
So, Jerry said it. He said, quote, it's not imperative to ramp up the contract extension discussions with some players right before training camp. So he also was asked, does Dak's deal need to be done before everybody else's deal? Jerry said, not necessarily. Pollard has nothing to do with the Dak.
With the what?
With Dak.
Oh.
Sorry. Pollard has nothing to do with Dak.
Okay, now I understand it. So, anyways, yes. So, again, what he's trying to say is that, look, he's double talking us here. Of course.
Basically, Pollard's, tag or possible future contract or otherwise has nothing to do with whether or not we try to extend Dak.
Right, I understand that, but at the same time, of course, they're going to say tomorrow the pie. We don't have enough pie going around, and that's when it does include. That's when anybody else on the team can hurt somebody else on the team because of their contract. That's when they use it when it fits their narrative. Remember that, guys.
It just makes me laugh because, again, were you thinking about Pollard when it comes to all these contracts?
Not at all.
Not at all. Like, again, didn't even touch on the actual guys that we've been talking about all offseason as far as
Trayvon,
their contracts and what's
Dak,
going on.
Terrence Steele.
I don't know. That feels to me very deliberate and intentional.
I agree. Great catch there. And I also think that Jerry Jones, he talked about Dak Prescott. And I think this is interesting, baby. He said that a key part of this offseason offensive change, this is where the Dak change comes in. This is interesting, but it's not really about Dak. It's the scheme.
Okay.
A key part of the Cowboy offseason changes on offense is Dak Prescott getting the ball out quicker in the passing game. Does that mean he has to get his reads done quicker? Well, maybe sometimes. But does it mean West Coast offense quickness? And I think that's what we're talking about here. Quick plays to let the receivers, running backs, tight ends make the catch and get after the yardage, after yard catch. What is that? Yards after the reception.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see. I think from the West Coast offense about 30 to 35% of the time. And again, it's not a surprise to me. I'm excited that this is the kind of the McCarthy influence of how we're going to take this to a little West Coast flavor and get the ball out of Dak's hands quick. If it does not get out quick, guys, as I've said multiple times, that Dak is going to scramble with the rest of the offense. It's going to be a known thing. And if in 2 seconds, that's an example. It's an example. But let's say in 2 seconds, the ball's not out yet, Dak scrambles. Everybody knows this. Everybody makes sure the offensive line stays. They don't go down the field because they know Dak may be throwing the ball. Everybody adjusts. The receivers, tight ends, the targets down the field, they adjust knowing that Dak's going to roll out right, roll out left, scramble and break the pocket because it's been 2 seconds. This is what the Cowboys are doing. Everybody's going to be in tandem, and everybody's going to kind of know as a whole. 1, 2. I didn't get the ball yet. I got to go this way or that way. Whatever the way is that it's told after 2 seconds to scramble that. And I'm talking about everybody. Dak, the offensive line, the receivers, the targets down the field. That is going to be the key going forward. And I like that Dak's going to get the ball out quick or he's going to scramble and make something happen. I'm cool with that. I've been asking for that for 6 fucking years. We're finally going to get that, I think, this year. So I'm excited.
Real quick, Frame Ripper said, look, Jerry wants to remind us all how he picked Ware over Miriam. Also, Cowboys haven't beaten the 49ers in the playoffs since Jimmy left. It's time to end the curse.
That I 1 million agree with at times there with Frame Rippers.
So, Mike, I really hope Jerry does it, but it doesn't sound like he wants to. So, Jersey Cowboys also saying Jerry just wanted to attach his name to the excitement of Jimmy's induction into the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
Obviously, there's no plans to induct Jimmy to the Ring of Honor. Disgusting indeed.
It is. Michael Downer said JJ is a welcher. Agreed. Frame Ripper said this about what was said by Stephen Jones. He said that, again, Frame Ripper's great point, a great catch. He said he's out of Tampa, meaning Rojo there, Ronald Jones. He's out of Tampa. His best year was in Tampa. But he was at the Chiefs last year, as Frame Rippers just mentioned here. So, they're looking at 2020 highlights when he was in Tampa, is what Frame Rippers is saying, and hoping that's what we got. And, that's a clown show kind of move by the front office, right? They're hoping. They're hoping to get the Ronald Jones that was, at his best. It was a 1 year, could have been a fluke year, could have been other things, but they're rolling the dice, the Cowboys, with that. So any other comments there, maybe, before we go? I see Don Oliver in the house. Yes. Lost in Translation.
Much love.
Drums and Cowboys, Scorpio.
Let me see here. No, we kind of touched on most of that stuff. So
there's a little bit more from you, baby, about, I think you have about Terrence Steele. Because Jerry Jones spoke about Terrence Steele and moving him around. What's going on? Did they actually move him yet, or are they thinking about moving him to guard?
Yeah, like are some of the comments made earlier in this offseason, do they have any weight? Right? Jerry said, quote,
on Terrence Steele, right?
Yes. I'm liking his flex that we're mentally thinking about.
Mentally.
I think the fact that those tall guys with that kind of length, arm length especially, I like the fact that they haven't been ruled out inside. I see how that can work.
There you go, guys. The Jerry Jones spin. The clown show spin. I mean, look, do you guys really think that, I'm going to put this up for a second. Do you guys really think that Terrence Steele is going to play, like we're moving all our tackles to that guard's position? It just seems like clown show kind of verbiage. And, of course,
I would say it is feeling a little bit clowny.
If it works, it could work. I'm not saying it won't work, but I mean, it could work. But it just seems like this is like what we're banking the season on, these two guys. So when you look at this, let me get them out the fucking picture here. But just an idea here, baby. Listen to this. When you look at this for context, and I'm going to put up offensive linemen here right now on the screen because I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about offensive linemen. But I do want to make a mention about our three, I guess you could say all three tackles. Where is it?
Oh, that's all right. Here, real quick, while you go ahead and look for that, real quick, guys, since we are, more than halfway through this.
Yeah, we're at the end here, actually.
Take a second to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Best, easiest, simplest way to make sure you never miss a live stream here. Of course, you can hop into Discord at MyCowboysFamily, or pretty much MyCowboysFamily on all social media. So make sure to follow, hit like, all that good stuff. And, of course, tip of the hat to the sponsor of the week. Much love to you. It is David S.
Yes.
With that last minute takeover. Thank you, David. And
yes,
guess
to
what?
David S.
Not just taking over as the sponsor of the week, he's also the Cash App King. Thank you, David. And, of course, you see there, Mark Hovsepian is still the stream boss. He's still bossing that stream around, but he's got 58 points this time. So mahalo to you, Mark.
Dropped a little there, but he's hanging right in. Again, so where are we at? Oh, I found it. We got offensive linemen here, right? So offensive line guys, Jerry Jones spoke about Terrence Steele mentally thinking about where they're going to put him, but they haven't moved him yet. That should tell you everything you need to know. And again, let me just put it in context. What is he talking about? These tackles playing guard. He's talking about Chuma Odoga. We talked about this earlier in the year, guys, in the offseason. He's a tackle, may be able to play some guard. Josh Ball, they said he is playing the Zach Martin spot right now. Zach Martin sits out some of these OTAs. Matt Waletzko, we know he's playing left guard. He's getting some rotation there. Asim Richards, he's a drafted tackle from North Carolina, rookie. But he's playing, we knew he was going to come in playing guard. That's 4 tackles. 4 tackles playing that guard spot right now. And then Terrence Steele, again, we heard the Jonses and others say that we may be seeing him playing guard a little bit and seeing how he does there. Not played there yet. He's not played there yet, but
it sounds like the interest maybe remains.
Well, it just means that I think they're doing this to holding it out there to kind of confuse people. I truly think Terrence Steele is staying at the right tackle. When he comes back, he ain't going to no guard, is my point. So he's still rehabbing from that knee injury. He has not been. They've talked about him maybe playing left guard, but he has never been asked yet to play left guard. So number 78 over there, I think it's clear he ain't going to be playing no left guard there. It's just some BS. Now, what about the other 2 tackles that you see on this screen? Tyler Smith, the second-year guy now, number 73 and 77, Tyron Smith. It's just a matter when does he get hurt, right? We know he always gets hurt. Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith. The way I look at this, Tyler Smith has a huge, bright future ahead of him. And let's look at him in his first year, Tyler Smith, in Terrence Steele. I'm sorry, not Terrence, but in Tyron Smith's first year as a rookie.
Awesome Richards. There we go.
Awesome Richards. Yeah, it's awesome. I think awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like awesome.
Awesome Richards. Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm trying to say here back to the other 2 tackles, Tyron and Tyler Smith. Let's look at both their rookie years. All right, Tyron Smith, the great Tyron Smith, his rookie year, 1,040 snaps. Tyler Smith, 1,144 snaps. He had 100 more snaps than Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith in his rookie year had 7 penalties. Tyler Smith had 13 penalties. But he came out of college with a shitload of penalty issues, right? And he definitely didn't do as bad as expected. I was
say by halfway through the season, like those had calmed down significantly.
Agreed.
So as much as those numbers aren't great, I do chalk up a lot of that to just transitioning, right?
Yeah, but the way I look at this is that the great Tyron Smith had 7 penalties. That's not very good for the great Tyron Smith, right? So
agreed.
Now, what about sacks given up? Tyron Smith in his rookie year allowed 8 sacks. Tyler Smith allowed 6.
Oh.
So Tyler Smith did better in allowing sacks in the passing game, pass protection, than Tyron Smith in his rookie year. And just so you guys know, those 6 sacks he gave up, 2 out of those 6 were given up to Aaron Donald. So the other 4, he gave up 4 to everybody else in 16 games. And 1 game he gave up 2 to Aaron Donald, which, a different kind of guy over there. So just what I'm trying to say here is Tyler Smith, woo-wee, he's got that Tyron Smith's kind of ability in him, I think. You can see that coming around the corner here in the rookie year's comparison. Now, the last part of things, guys, again, I actually have one more thing here, but the last part of Jerry Jones's discussions here, it's more about, again, he touched on free agency. Like we talked about Stephen Jones, touched on free agency. He touched on, the same thing Stephen Jones touched on, but running back specifically. And kind of discussed what's the situation for Ezekiel Elliott as well in this discussion, as well as other free agents. Maybe what did he say, the full context of his quote.
He said, quote, "There's an active free agent market relative to some pretty talented people out there. We want to keep a close eye on that. I never shut the door, never, relative to the potential to smartly add to our team for this year. And I emphasize that, for this year. Mainly,
this year.
I would tell you that 99% of my thinking is for the year.
For this year?
Yes. So now you've got to think about the impact on other years when you make these decisions. You name it. Whether it be Ezekiel Elliott, where we are with the guys we worked out here today. We're all the time looking to add depth, not just for training camp, but also to the 53. So it's all wide open for me."
What do you think?
I mean, obviously, like I said, I want to believe the best from these comments in a way, but honestly, I think the Cowboys are just okay with what we have, and we're just going to chill. So
that's usually that's a safe bet.
Nothing that Jerry said there makes me think that the Cowboys are going to I don't know, all of a sudden turn around and start being very aggressive or different when it comes to the free agents available or anything like that. Like, it's been months now that Jerry could have done something if he wanted to, and well, he still hasn't. So, and
you got to remember, again, when you're going to play the waiting game, which is okay, that's a business thing, right? You can wait on some of these guys, so the price drops a little more, they're less wanted, less of a market for them. But he said, unlikely, he echoed what Stephen Jones said about DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
He says, unlikely we're going to go get him. Oh, sorry, guys. He said it was unlikely, all right, that we were going to get DeAndre Hopkins, but he said he did not shut the door and is still, evaluating the futures of the team, in future years, but also, not ruled out a return for Zeke. It's about this year, but also 1% also about looking to future years is what he's trying to say. So, look, just don't overspend on any running back. That's what you got to know there, Jerry Jones. That's all you got to know. So, any quick comments before I finish this up, maybe in the chat?
Let me see here. Real quick, Skeptical Fan said, Jerry talks just to hear himself talk. Just leave the player roster alone. Let the coaches make those kinds of decisions. So... and again, guys, we do have quite a few of you guys here, so make sure to, again, take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and, let us know in the comments section if you're watching this, obviously after our live stream, what you think about this particular topic here. And, of course, if you're here now, drop your comments in the chat so we can touch base on that and know what you're thinking. So... let me see. Don Oliver throwing out there, here goes the clown show again with mediocre moves. We like our guys.
It's funny how they focus on, the depth, the training camp guys, the guys that are going to go to practice squad. Like they talk about that a lot. And and starters too, 53 roster guys, yeah. But you're putting on guys, you're taking horrible guys and replacing them with a little bit less horrible guys. I guess that's improvement. I don't know. That's the clown show kind of thinking, I think.
So, let me see here. Frame Ripper is saying, Tyler played on the left side. The only game I remember him struggling was against the Rams? Aaron Donald. Yeah,
exactly.
So, Mike Aldana said, Jerry Jones runs his mouth. Half the shit he says is spoken in riddles. So, I would genuinely like to know how much of what he actually says he understands. So, that's the bigger question, right? So... and yes, one thing I will say, Jerry's comments did make it very, very clear, and even some of Steven's comments too. Sounds like the door is very much wide open for Zeke to possibly come back.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like, at least from the Cowboys side, it doesn't sound like particular desire has gone.
We know the Bucs had looking at him, but he had to take a lot less money, according to Skip Pete, running back coach for the Bucs. Jones is not going to spend that much on him. They're just waiting for it to drop low enough, so then they will sign him if it drops low enough for their liking, for the Cowboys' liking. If Zeke's willing to accept that.
So, let me see here. And Charles Brown, you might have hopped in here now a little later, but long story short, the Cowboys seem to be very interested in some kind of XFL kicker.
USFL
and
XFL kickers is what they're focusing on, it seems.
So
that's what they're showing us, telling us by their words.
Oh, so a skeptical fan said Jerry's double talk would be perfect for Morse code. So that is a very, very good point. So Jerry would have been the number one guy in the Army deciphering messages and things like that. So Scorpio, by the way, much love. He said the money that we're not paying D-Hop will go towards keeping a player on our team. So whether it's Diggs or Lamb or whoever.
And it's about keeping them on the team for... Not this year. We can do that without having. We don't have to make any money, any room on our contract, on our salary cap to do any of those moves for our guys. But it's more for future money that's going to be able to be absorbed by some of the rollover money. And I agree, but we still got a little bit of pocket change here: $4 million and another $1 million for a kicker, $4 million for a guard. I don't know. You spend $5 million out of your $25 million. I think we're good. I think we're good. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, great stuff, guys. Again, I hope we all on the same page now with the news of the day. There is one little last opinion portion of things from myself, and that's about the big bubble once again, Mike McCarthy. And I want to know what you think about this, baby. This is kind of, I snuck this in here at the end, at the buzzer. But Mike McCarthy's offense in Green Bay, you see it. You see him on the thumbnail. You see the old Green Bay Mike McCarthy. Let me put it up on here and show you what I mean.
Going old school.
Well, you're seeing him holding the play call, sheet there with the Packers when he was a primetime, Green Bay. I smudged his hat off there, but the point is, as a Packer, he
was the guy running the offense.
He was the play caller. We know he has Aaron Rodgers, but he was the one running the show there. And you see him now. He's got the headset on like he did in Green Bay.
Yep.
He's going to have that play call sheet now like he did in Green Bay. He's taken over the offense. So that's why I did that kind of reference there. Yeah. Now, let's focus on, and this is really quick. I just want to know what you guys think, including you, baby, of course. So the offense, how is it going to stack up when you have the Cowboy offense compared to his play calling, not coaching, not head coaching, but play calling abilities in Green Bay? McCarthy has a very good resume of success calling plays back with the Green Bay Packers. The last time he called plays in the NFL. So again, we don't have anything in the last 3 years that he did not do it. It was Kellen Moore. So in his 13 years with the Packers, he called plays in 12 of those seasons. The only exception was in the beginning of 2015 when Tom Clements took things over. Clements' offense registered, listen to this, a 2.7% DVOA, which is the third worst over that time span. Only being eclipsed by McCarthy's first year, a rookie coach in Green Bay, and in 2017 when Aaron Rodgers missed more than half the season. Outside of those 2 times in his play calling career with the Packers, and of course, the last year he did not call the plays. That's why I said Tom Clements took over and he sank the ship as far as the offense was concerned. Outside of the year he had no Aaron Rodgers, it's just starting quarterback. Forget Aaron Rodgers. It's your starting quarterback. You're missing Dak, you're gonna have trouble too, right? So that's
just for a game or two,
right? That's for the season. So that's a bad year. That's the only years that were worse than that year when Tom Clements took over as play caller. The only years were worse when he didn't have Aaron Rodgers for 1 year and his rookie year as a head coach ever, like not just in the Packers, but in the NFL in his career. So you got to take that. You got to understand that means he's a solid play caller in the bulk of his career of calling plays. So in the other 10 years, in that bulk of his career, in his play call, I want to say this: his play calling career, McCarthy's offense, the offense finished 11th or better in all those years, including 6 times in the top 5. Sometimes they didn't have the running back. Sometimes they didn't have this guy or that guy. But they always had Aaron Rodgers. Great quarterback. So, of course he gets some. I want to make sure everybody understands. I'm not trying to say being blind to this. Aaron Rodgers is a major part of this. But so is McCarthy. And the way he was able to call plays to help Aaron Rodgers' skill set and shine the most he can. Like if he said, Aaron Rodgers, I want you running all the time. I want you scrambling. Would that hurt Aaron Rodgers' career? Of course. So the same thing as I'm trying to say about Dak. They forced him in the pocket. They forced him not to go up tempo. They forced him with shitty receivers a couple years. Again, stacked with Lenahan and Kellen Moore. Predictable play calling. You really said the word here, play calling. That's the key here. It's not Dak. It's not the offensive line. There's ways of getting around that. It's about the fucking play calling and the adjustments. So when you look through all this data, from the Green Bay Packer play calling years of McCarthy, there's no reason to doubt that that McCarthy is not going to have do a good job, even a great job, in calling our offensive plays here with Dak, with Tony Pollard, with our receiving core, tight ends, and offensive line. No matter what it is, there's nothing telling me that McCarthy is going to shit the bed when it comes to calling plays. Now, he should be very good in calling plays. At the same time, the Cowboys have not shown, really. Some people will say that is the Cowboys' deficiency the play calling, or is it other things going on like the offensive line or Dak or this and that? And look, everything has a part to play in this. Offensive line's not working great. No quarterback's going to do great. If the quarterback is having a bad game or a bad couple of games, if Dak's having bad games, of course, going to hinder our chances to win games or look good. The only times that you can say that the Cowboy offense struggled under Kellen Moore was when Dak got hurt. Whether it was last year for 5 games or, of course, when we lost him with the broken ankle. That's when the offense shut down. But that's expected. It's kind of like you lose Tony Pollard in the playoffs, your offense is going to shut down some ways, right? So it's going to be slowed down. Right?
You could definitely say that.
Well, and that's the point here. I mean, you lose Dak, you lose Aaron Rodgers, you lose Tony Pollard. It hurts your season, not just a game, or not just one player. It hurts all the players on offense and your play caller if they don't adjust properly. So it comes down to play calling, and that is the key. We haven't seen play calling from McCarthy the entire time of his career in Dallas. But 12 out of 13 years, he was fantastic at doing that in Green Bay. Now, McCarthy was brought in to get the Cowboys over the hump, and he kind of halfway got us there. I mean, 2 back-to-back 12-win seasons. But has fallen back, as the Cowboys seem to fall back into that same circle of doom by losing in the playoffs and not getting past the fucking divisional round. So the Cowboys have had answers throughout the season, regular season, September, October, November, even our troubles in December have kind of gone away. So McCarthy's definitely helped this team. And so McCarthy's play calling is going to help the Cowboy offense and team get better. The challenge kind of remains, is it going to be able to, the players and I'm assuming the play calling will help the players. Will this be able to continue through January and beyond? You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens, guys. Unless that changes, unless we can get past that next hump of getting past these January games, meaning the damn playoffs, and get into the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, until that changes, guys, he'll be no different. In a lot of ways, he'll be no different than Garrett, than Linehan, than Kellen Moore. So he's got to do it. He's got to prove it now. I believe all the signs.
He's different in one very particular way, right? And that is that he can help get us past this godforsaken hump of 20-something year drought, right? We're trying to get
to the conference championship. Well, it's been like 25 years. We got to get to the conference championship.
Baby steps, but that is, like I said, that is the expectation, especially considering that even with everything that we had almost stacked against us in a lot of ways, we still were overall very, very successful last year. So now that we have kind of addressed some of the reasons why we didn't quite make it further than that, right? Whether it's offense or defense or coaching or whatever, hopefully now we can see some better results. So, well,
again, and that's why I say that when you look at the play calling, that was, I think here at My Cowboys Family, that was my biggest gripe, is the way we called plays. It was very predictable. Yeah, there was some cool plays, some razzle-dazzle stuff, but it was predictable with Linehan. It was predictable with Kellen Moore. I gotta hope it's not going to be predictable with Mike McCarthy. I gotta hope that McCarthy, with the West Coast flavor and knowledge of how to run game plans and call plays around your quarterback, your running back, your offense. He did this in Green Bay. It showed for a decade. He'll do it again in Dallas. And again, I don't know if it's going to be only 1 year. If he has some stumbles, some injuries on offense, obviously it's going to change things. But if he has the guys mainly healthy, knocking on wood, I believe that we're going to be fine in McCarthy's hands. And we're going to definitely, I think, be better than we were with Garrett. If he was calling plays, which he was. But I know we had Callahan. He'd be better than all these guys, including Linehan. And, of course, Kellen Moore. So, what do you think, baby, about this? And what does the chat think about this? I don't know if you have any thoughts about it.
I honestly, I don't really have too much more to say on that. But real quick, I did want to hit up the chat here. Cracks me up. Skeptical fan said, I think 90% was just Aaron Rodgers being a prima donna. So before that, Drums and Cowboys added in there. The only concern I have is that I remember Rodgers saying that McCarthy's play calling was not innovative, and that's why they brought in a new coach. Do you remember that?
Well, again, it's interesting that he said that because for 10 years it was fantastic, I guess. But then, when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, that was one of his worst years of play calling because he didn't have Aaron Rodgers. And I say that as when you don't have Dak Prescott, you're going to have problems. You don't have to be Aaron Rodgers. I'm saying you could be below him. You're losing your better quarterback.
That goes doubly so for Green Bay, who, for better or for worse, basically built their entire team on Aaron Rodgers. It did not work without him there. And that's my point. Who designed the play calling around Aaron Rodgers and that offense? Who was it? This guy. Yes.
You can't. Imagine if you had Kellen Moore, Jason Garrett there, or Lenahan calling plays for Aaron Rodgers. Predictable routes. I'm sorry, but Aaron Rodgers can't throw through a defensive cornerback's hands when he's standing in front of the play, and he knows you're going to go to that spot because you're seeing the run to the sticks and turn around. That's what the Cowboys did under Lenahan. Under Kellen Moore, not every time, most of the time though, and lack of adjustments from Kellen Moore it showed. You think you're going to see that? I hope we're not going to see that kind of, very inexperienced, non-veteran kind of play calling from a veteran, experienced play caller like Mike McCarthy, and he's been successful by using the right game plan around your best players. That's the key. You just can't have a great player and he'll win you games. You got to have the coaching that fits him. I don't think and I've said this from the beginning, I don't think Dak Prescott has ever truly had coaching that fits Dak Prescott. And somebody go, that's because Dak sucks. No. You can get Trent Dilfer can help the Baltimore Ravens win a Super Bowl. Trust me, Dak Prescott is more than well equipped. In fact, he's compared to Trent Dilfer. He is fantastic compared to Trent Dilfer. So that's not a bitch about that. If you can win a Super Bowl with a great defense and a Trent Dilfer, you can win a Super Bowl with a great defense and Dak Prescott. Let's not bullshit us. Come on, guys. Let's be real about this.
Yes. So, Mike Cardano real quick said they all would have been fired.
Exactly.
So, take it easy, Rolando Rodriguez. Have a great night. Much love. So, and, we are, getting towards the end
here. Let's
do
the shout-outs and the comments here, I guess, as we roll it out.
Frame Rippers throwing out there. Playing San Francisco in the regular season this year will be huge for the Cowboys.
Great test.
They'll be able to play them, and if we meet them again in the playoffs, we have the ability to game plan even better.
That's one game I'm not really too concerned about losing or winning. I want to win, of course, but we'll meet them in the playoffs probably. That's the game I want to win. In the playoffs. You guys feel me on this? I don't want to win. I don't want to win the game.
Yeah, so if they win
in the regular season compared to that, I'd rather. I'd like to win both of them, but I feel we're going to meet them in the playoffs, and that's the game I have to have us win. I cannot have us, show our secrets in that Week 6 game or whatever we play, the Week 5 game against the 49ers, and then they know our tricks and everything we're going to do, in the playoffs. Now, that's up to McCarthy to change things up. We'll see. Oh, Skeptical Fan dropping that 5 on it.
Woo,
another one.
Skeptical Fan.
Much love to the man who always stays skeptical, and the man, by the way, gifting leader right now, last month's winner. Much love to the man, Skeptical Fan, who is now in first place all by himself. What did the man staying skeptical have to say, baby?
He said, I think McCarthy took over play calling during the Tampa Bay game in the playoffs. Maybe when Rush was playing?
Definitely when Rush took over. And he made us not be efficient because you had a bad quarterback in there, but he made us not stupid. He didn't make things extra difficult. He took pressure off the quarterback because he knows the quarterback can't handle it. I mean, we were not having a very efficient offense. So he did the right, even though it was boring, it was not efficient. He got wins, McCarthy. He took over. We know he took over in that Bengal game when we lost Dak. And after week 1, he took over for at least tweaked things going in Cincinnati, and he continued tweaking things until until we got Dak Prescott back and Kellen Moore. Then started working better, I guess you can say, when it came to his lack of adjustments. Kellen Moore, all he can do is he can't adjust to a Cooper Rush. That's where McCarthy came in and adjusted to Cooper Rush. And I'm telling you guys, that was a difference maker for the Jonses in saying, you know what, we're going to leave McCarthy in there and let him run the show. We're going to get rid of Kellen Moore. That was a difference maker. That Week 2 game and those next 5 weeks as well is why the Jonses said, we're going to give McCarthy another shot. We're not going to give any more shots and make any more mistakes with old Kellen Moore. We're not going to turn Kellen Moore into the Garrett mistake we did for a decade. So, yeah. Great point, Skeptical Fan. Appreciate you with that 5 on it. And he's in first place on the overall board, trying to get that sponsor of the week.
So
she almost had last week.
Yes, he did. Real quick, Mike Aldana throwing out there, McCarthy forced Kellen Moore to call plays that he didn't want to. So, and again, there's been a lot of back and forth discussions on a little conspiracy theory that some people have been speculating for a while, which is basically McCarthy threw Kellen Moore under the bus on purpose. He basically allowed Kellen Moore to hang himself, and basically did not intervene in certain situations where he could have, just to let Kellen Moore, look bad, so to speak. So
I don't know
on one
that.
hand, I could almost believe it if maybe some of the Cowboy direct fallout wasn't so personal to McCarthy directly. So,
well, I want to say something about that though, because again, I don't think McCarthy forced Kellen Moore, because again, we know for a fact Mike McCarthy said this in a post-game interview, or maybe it was a during the week interview, but he said that I do not like route options. When the receiver gets to choose the option in the route on his own, on the fly, is something that Mike McCarthy never does, but it's Kellen Moore. So if McCarthy was saying don't do that, and he said this in front of everybody in the media, I have the video, the video clip somewhere. McCarthy said, I don't like route options. We do a lot of route options. He said this. This is Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore, he loves? He loves route options. He spoke about that himself. How he loves route options for the receivers. They made mistakes in the Green Bay game that cost us the game. CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz. They had the route options, and that's what Kellen Moore put out there. So I think that proves that Mike McCarthy was not telling Kellen Moore what to do. I think that for those 5 weeks, he took over more. And yes, in that sense, for Mike Aldana, I do agree. For those 5 weeks of no Dak, he was doing plays that Kellen Moore doesn't even know what the fuck to do with, to adjust around a Cooper rush. You guys understand? It would have been a disaster if Kellen Moore would have called those 5 games, or at least fully called them. But at that point, it was like a do or die at that point, because the Jonses were like, hands off Kellen Moore. I'm sorry, baby. But I think it was hands off Kellen Moore for Mike McCarthy until they said, okay, now you can go ahead and talk to him, because now you got Cooper Rush there and he's going to need help. That's the only time when they opened the door for help, and he took advantage, helped us in a real way. I'm talking about Mike McCarthy. And the Jonses, I hope, at least got through that thick skull of theirs and said, oh, okay, McCarthy actually knows his shit, and Kellen Moore doesn't know his shit. How can a little baby coach like Kellen Moore have to need help when you get a new quarterback? You can only coach Dak Prescott? Good luck, Justin Herbert. I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that. Much love, Skeptical, and everybody else with the comments. Baby, hit up the comments real quick and the shout-outs so we can... It is time.
I think I did hit up most of them. Let me make sure I shout out everybody here, of course. Rolando Rodriguez, much love to you as well. Have a great night. Mike Aldana, Skeptical fan. We have Frame Rippers, a.k.a. Voodoo Alpha.
Voodoo. By the way, Skeptical, he's in first place, but he also gifted a membership tonight, so much love to him, and Purple Waffle, Potato Waffle over there, getting that membership tonight, man. Much love, Skeptical fan.
Bruce got the toxic juice saying Aaron Rodgers decided he wanted to get higher than monkey nuts in a tree to get along with McCarthy.
Yeah, he wanted to go do peyote or something, right?
Yeah.
Or some whatever. Ayahuasca out there.
All I know is thanks or no thanks. All good. So, let me see. Bruce got the toxic juice. Take it easy. Frame Rippers. Much love to you. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical.
Yes, yeah.
Drums and Cowboys said, the only concern I have is that I remember Rodgers saying McCarthy's play calling was not innovative, and that's why they brought in a new coach. Do you remember that?
When they said it was... no, we just talked about
it. Oh, yeah, so we had to say... That's right, we did discuss that already. So, no, just...
a little late for you.
Sorry, no, it's not that. It's just I'm trying to go through all the comments here, and I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's important comment, and that was a good point there. So... Daniel Berry Sports, much love.
And we hit on that, a lot. So
Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. El Cool said, I used to hate when McCarthy would always go for fourth downs against Dallas back in the day.
But that's right. But again, that was interesting because it was the play call, and he was choosing to go fourth down. Now he's the one that made the choice the last 3 years to go for it on fourth down, which I didn't like sometimes. The bigger problem was the play call from Kellen Moore was not suiting the way he probably had vision for a fourth down. We saw a lot of fourth downs ugly.
Not on fourth down was almost less relevant than the actual execution of what actually happened.
Well, execution or the actual play call. Sometimes we did some predictable shit, and it cost us. And McCarthy, I guarantee you, would have done something different. I mean, he's shown that he'll do different stuff than predictable crap that Kellen Moore did. On 4th and 1, we just ran Zeke into the middle, and we didn't make the first down.
Yeah. Drums and Cowboys, Charles Brown, cover song challenge. We have
Great family.
Thomas Garrett, the Superior Garrett.
I'm great family in the house tonight.
Don Oliver, take it easy.
Big Don.
Lost in translation, have a great night. Bruce got the toxic juice, much love. Cover song challenge, hello and hi. He said Jerry wants to add a Super Bowl before he adds Jimmy to the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, because
I guess we'll be waiting a long time.
That would, well, I hope not, but that's what would buffer. That's what would buffer the, his allowance of letting Jimmy Johnson in. It's like he can now say, look, I won a Super Bowl all by myself with my own team, not with you, Jimmy. That's what he means by that. Great comment there.
Mm-hmm. So, let me see here. Who else? Scorpio, much love to you, representing. Aztec Aguilar 04. Stephen White, have a great night. Dallas Cowboy 92, much love to you.
Yeah.
And that, surprisingly, is actually as far back as I can go. So, Cleveland Brown, hello and hi.
Cleveland Brown in the house. Football season's just getting rolling. Trickling to that finish line of the off season. But hey, we still got 6 weeks to go before we get into the training camp? 6-7 weeks. But at least we know this week, guys. I think June 6th, right around the corner, right? I mean, it's here. Pretty sure tomorrow, the 6th was the 6th. No, I think it's the 8th, 9th, or 10th. No, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I think is when June 6th, 7th, and 8th. So tomorrow begins mandatory minicamp for the Dallas Cowboys. I expect Thursday to get more visuals and knowledge of what's going on, but every single player must attend these practices or you get fined. So everybody will be there, including Trayvon Diggs. Should be there.
Pretty important here. Yeah. So Thomas Garrett, the final comment I'll read here, throwing it out there. Heard that the Green Bay game was a turning point. Kellen Moore was pissed off at McCarthy after the game, and according to Broadus, Kellen Moore started working on his resume after that loss.
Well, again, great. I mean, I don't know what to say about Kellen Moore having enough. That's interesting. But obviously that Green Bay game is the specific what I'm talking about. That is the breaking point of option routes from receivers and not. Kellen Moore wants the option routes for receivers. Mike McCarthy hates it. And I think pretty sure that's the game Mike McCarthy spoke on that. So that was kind of like, hey, fuck you, Kellen. At that point, Mike McCarthy had enough. About time, Mike McCarthy. Maybe a little late, but nonetheless, it's it was needed.
Hey, better late than never, right?
Obviously, and it saved his job, I guess, because the Jonses surprisingly took him over their love child with Garrett over there in Kellen Moore. So I'd rather have McCarthy calling plays than Kellen Moore. Let me put it that way.
So
on that note.
Yes, guys, again, thank you so much to every single person who took the time to say hello and hi, hang with us, share your thoughts, share your comments, and if you're watching this in the post-stream, right, and you're commenting in the comment section, right, make sure to let us know your thoughts on anything we discussed here tonight as well.
Yes, guys, appreciate everybody here. Of course, a sponsor week, David S. Always appreciate the man, David S., who came in last night and took over. It was a literal takeover, not just a sponsor of the week, the king of the Cash App. Much love to David S. And the Cash App is open right now for business, so to speak. There's nobody in the Cash App right now. There is no leader after day one, or night one, I guess you can say. But I'm sure there'll be somebody jumping in there, like a Jason Renfro or someone in the near future. We shall see. McCarthy said, I'm out of here. Marco Seppian, much love to the man from Hawaii. I hope everything, you're getting through these, tough times. Mm-hmm. Stay strong, brother. We'll see you on here whenever you have the ability to jump on here and say hi. 53 points for Marco Seppian on that stream, boss. And on the overall board, baby. Of course, we know on the membership gifting, Mr. Skeptical Fan took a little lead, a one gifting lead over Jason Renfro for the month. Of course, Skeptical is the big winner last month on that side of things. And when you look at the overall board, Skeptical Fan also the takeover on that side of things, because he's in first place currently on the overall board, coming for that sponsor of the week. And that's a wrap here, My Cowboys Family. Guys,
not 100% sure what the plan is as far as the live stream tomorrow. We will be doing our best to go live.
Yeah, it might only be me tomorrow. You might get only, the M to the C to the F and the W, maybe having an early night out as far as getting some sleep. Hi. Yeah, a little hello, hi, an intro, and then a bye-bye from the wife tomorrow. We'll see, but it depends on the news, the info, the updates. Hey, mandatory minicamp begins tomorrow, but the media is not going to be around really until... Whoa, Don Oliver now, member here at My Cowboys Family, because of the man who always is staying skeptical. Much love to him. Skeptical Fan with that membership.
That's right.
Gift.
So,
Woo!
Don
I love
Oliver,
that, man.
much love to you. And again, everyone, drop him if
Congrats.
you got him.
Skeptical stays in first place. Takes a bigger lead. And I got to fix his board up there. Now, I think he's at, 17 now? 17 gifted memberships. Taking a 2-gift lead over Jason Renfro. So, a new feature we have in this channel, right? We got our memberships back and our super chat back, but the gifting memberships is something brand new. So again, we love it here, trying to make something out of that. And definitely to me, that's one of the biggest things here on the channel. You can drop love and support the channel. That's a way of supporting the channel and then giving love to other family members here live. So the best way of doing it. Yeah, sharing the love and the interaction. That's what we talk about here all the time. So thank you once again, Skeptical Fan. Congrats, Don Oliver, and much love to everybody in the house. On that note, baby, do you know why we do this here on every single night here on My Cowboys Family? What's the reason why we do this?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw. Good, bad, or ugly. Right here on MCF, we always rep that star over everything. As you can see, the star is literally over the MCF on my shirt. But over everything on my hat, here on My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, a couple weeks away from 6 and beyond. 6 years on YouTube and beyond for My Cowboys Family. And never forget the number one thing, as always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and beyond, baby. That's right, Skeptical. Go Cowboys. Much love to all in the chat, dropping the knowledge all night long. And of course, truly humbled by the family that dropping the love, gifting, the memberships, all that good stuff. All of you guys that are in the membership and all that, thank you all for being part of this thing on the nightly. Can't do it without you. And big shout out to the best fans of all YouTube. On that note, it's time to clock out and drop out officially for the night. Before we can relock and reload, kicking off probably maybe a solo stream tomorrow or quickie for the wife here. And then I'll be running the rest of the night on maybe an interaction, discussion, chat. That's tomorrow. Before we can do that, baby, why don't you tell them what we got to do here on MCF before we drop out for the night?
We got to drop the beat.
As you can see, that was me talking through the wife was talking through me. It was like I was her puppet there. That was funny. Guys, thank you once again for joining us for another one here on My Cowboys Family.
You don't say anything I don't allow you to say. So
That's
okay,
true. True, it kind of works. Guys, thank you. Kicking off a new week right here on My Cowboys Family. But hey, got another 6 to go. We'll talk about it all here on MCF, guys. Of course, join us tomorrow for another one here, My Cowboys Family. And remind every Eagle fan some basic knowledge that we all know it's facts. Mathematics, no matter where you are on this earth, this planet, this universe. Tell every Eagle fan 5 is always greater than 1. Hells yeah. That's facts. This song is a fact, too, for every Eagle fan. They should read it before they go to bed every night. Yeah, and we talked about it. We got caught up on everything, right, Eagles? Tonight here on my MCF. Another Cowboys chat in the books, guys. Thank you all for rocking with us. Talked about Jerry and Steve. Talked about receiver musical chairs. And, of course, McCarthy, back there in the Green Bay. And now, how will things change? We'll see. We'll see if things change at all. But my expectation is McCarthy will be 10 times better than Kellen Moore, Garrett, Lenahan, and all those guys when it comes to knowing your offensive players, their skill set, and getting the thing going the right direction consistently on offense. That's the hope, McCarthy. Hot seat time. Here on MCF, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone. Everyone stay safe. We'll see you back tomorrow for another show here tomorrow on My Cowboys Family. Much love to all guys. Have a safe night. Peace out. Good night. And never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!